Hello everyone, welcome to a new video. It's been a while, at least for the road to 2000s. Our current elo is 1710. Let's see if we are still able to play a bit of chess. It's been 2 weeks since I actually played anything or since my last upload, so let's just get things started with our classic e4 repertoire, where e5 is played, knight f3, and we'll see what's gonna go happen. And he plays a Philidor. Philidor is known for to be quite a solid opening. So let's play d4. And the way we're gonna treat this solid opening, where black doesn't want anything, he kind of wants to make a draw, is to make everything possible except a draw by sacking a pawn or two or three. And we play c3, hoping he would take. Then we can play bishop c4, already eyeing here, hoping also he takes. And then we get some massive development in exchange for 2 pawns. Or actually one or two. No, two actually. 2 pawns. Usually they don't really take the second pawn because they get quite scared, which actually has no good reason because you need to be scared of these stupid openings of mine. And knight c6. Okay. So knight c6. Does have a nice trick to it. Does have a nice ring to it, doesn't it? So I wanted to play queen b3. If any other move happened, especially bishop e7, then queen b3 would be quite deadly, as you cannot play knight h here. In this position, if bishop e7 was played, queen b3 would be very deadly, as after knight h6 defending f7, I would be able to take. But now, it might not be a very good idea to play this, as after here, and defending it with the queen, he's also turning knight h5. So I'm debating to either take the pawn or to just castle. And I think I just take the pawn, I develop a piece and play it simple. And okay, he has one pawn, we're still up in development, and I'm quite happy about the position. So here he plays bishop here. Um, which is kind of a pussy move. He wants to exchange. And yeah, that's basically it. And after queen b3, so let's say we take queen b3, immediately attacking this pawn. Here, and we go knight g5, attacking this pawn again. Then he could go e5. And that's quite annoying. But also, if we go queen b3, we're also attacking this pawn. So we might be able to take there. So I think taking is actually a solid option. What other option do we have? Knight g5 here. There's there's bishop takes. That doesn't make sense. And if we go queen b here, just takes, and it also doesn't make sense. So we should have also taken a look here, but I couldn't see any logic ways of continuing. So we go this way. Now we're both attacking this pawn and this pawn. So it seems to me that this is at least a solid way of continuing. If you place queen e7, we just take on b7, attacking both pieces. If you place here, we play knight g5. Queen c8 does defend both pawns, so it seems to be the most likely scenario. There's also queen d7, and after it takes, there's rook here. It's quite annoying. He actually goes for this, though. He actually goes for this. So after queen h4 check, there's actually this, defending this. And after we take here, he defends, I assume. And then we have to find our way. And I guess we have to call his bluff and just take. And we could be transposing to an endgame here, but we could also just take a slow approach. Here, we know that the queen is here. He's not running anywhere. We see that the knight is a target. The knight, we see that his pieces are less developed. So we have a better position, right? This is maybe a target for him, but not at the moment. So it makes sense to me to play something like Queen f5 here, intending to, one, attack the vulnerable piece, which is undefended, but also maybe knight d5 is coming. We also have a plethora of other options like knight bishop g5. Um, but after bishop g5, there's this, obviously. But there's a lot of options. I think we should go for our most instinctual one, which is knight d5. We put a knight in place. This pawn is still defended by the queen, so there's no need to be scared of that. We'll castle next move. Okay, he actually um, offers another trade of queens, showing that he's very uncomfortable in this situation. It's a solid move. It's a solid move. It's a solid move. And he does lose the right to castle. There's no easy way to actually make use of that. We could castle in this position. That's one. We'd also play knight g5. And if then, idea being if he takes. No, that's actually not good. All right, let's just castle. I don't really know for sure what to do. So I'm just gonna go with castling. Yes, we could have taken away his right to castle there, but I couldn't really see how we would really take advantage of that. And here, after takes, we're at least turning a fork here. And after long castles, I'm not really sure, but at least it seems that we are um, doing something. So we could take here, takes, but there's nothing there. There are no real targets for us right now. Okay, maybe the king, the rook is kind of exposed, but not really. Um, we could play bishop g5, just get the bishop out. Knight still being on the great square. Yes. And at least we're attacking something. At least we're attacking something. So yeah, maybe the chessing ability has not been up to par. Um, let's just take. Okay, yes, we do have double pawns, but we also have an open file. Maybe he just goes there, takes over the open file. It is what it is. Or he does that. Or he does that. Let's add another attacker. Which rook do we take? It's very hard to debate. I'm gonna go for this. It does immobilize this, but I'm a bit scared of anything. It's probably not the best move, but it is what it is. And my idea was if he takes, which he should have done, then I get this attack. But now after takes, we actually win a piece. So this actually escalated to be a fast blunder of our opponent. He played really well up until that point, in my opinion. But now he's just down a piece, and yeah, I think we'll just slowly but surely play this very safely, sound, and win this, or he will just resign. think he now realized that he blundered. Yes. All right. So yeah, anticlimactic game. I was feeling the tension of the time. It's definitely a bit obvious that I'm um, um, a bit rusty, but let's go through the game nevertheless. E4, E5, knight f6, d4, and after takes, bishop c4. As I mentioned in the game, bishop e7 doesn't work, well, which is a very usual um, move. Let's say if you play bishop c4 to play in this opening, the Philidor defense. But in this case, when you play c3 and you play bishop e7 here, that would be actually a big mistake because after queen b3, there's actually almost no way to defend this f7 pawn. There is bishop here, but after takes, and queen, well, after takes, there is knight d4. And after you play something like this, you just whoop into this place, threatening this. There's actually no good way to defend that pawn. Here you would just, lose the queen. All right, so our opponent really righteously went for this, and here I thought, let's play queen b3, but that would walk into queen e7, for example, threatening this, but also threatening this and stopping my plan. And after something like castles, there could be something like knight here, and I was kind of scared of this. After hindsight, it's not really a threat, as we would just be able to, give a check, but it's something to think about. And this is maybe the reason why queen d7 was very strong in this position, because after takes, there's knight a5, and now there isn't a check. And after queen b5, knight takes c4, we lost the bishop pair, and actually it's black who's fighting for the win on the long term. So e6, so we took with the knight, and after bishop e6, after a long tank we took. There was a debate about knight d5, which could be good, but I couldn't see what we're really, a knight on d5 looks really fancy, but it's not really doing anything here. So we took, take, and we attacked the weaknesses, and after knight a5, we just simply take a pawn and drop the queen back to f5. The reason I didn't go for d5 was because I wanted to leave the space for the knight. Apparently, after knight c6, queen b3, going back for this, and castles, defending this pawn. There's just castles, and after knight f6, bishop g5, let's say h6, takes. Now we play knight d5, and this is a much better version of what we did. So the point being, I guess, is that you want to slowly transpose a knight to d5, but with the queen being on b3, not on f5, which I do actually agree with, because the knight on f5 was more of a liability than an asset. After we went knight e5 here, he could simply offer an exchange of queens, which is kind of annoying. So after castles, it's probably best to take. He waited the move, which gave us time to attack more pieces. And after takes, bishop here, we went rook a to e1. In hindsight, it was probably better to move the other rook. This was more, yeah, I guess my thought process here was that this rook here was not doing anything. Maybe I could, in the future, play something like f4 with the rook behind the pawn. But really, it was more because I was afraid if I played this, and in any case, in any nearby future, you could take here, it's with check. And here, if you take here with the rook, it's not a check. And that's what I was afraid of. But it's literally nothing to be afraid of. But we did this nevertheless. h6, and yeah, we simply won everything. I think if he took here and after knight here, he could just simply play this, and then we still would have a game. Apparently, engine says f3 in the situation. And after knight e5, bring the knight to a good square, blocking the rook, which seems very good. Play f4, which is kind of funny because you just played f3. Played here, knight e6, which was the whole point. And I think still white is doing very well in his endgame. And there's a plethora of ways that can go wrong here. Is this not good? Queen b6, knight takes here. Knight e3. What? Going for this pawn. Wow. Um. So after queen c6, we give this here, knight f6, and now we go queen a7. Ah, okay, and the difference is that now you don't have this threat anymore, I guess. If you go queen d7 here, you could take with this, g4. Ooh, go here, and you already have something like this, probably. Queen h2 first, because... Queen g2 first, because they have this check. This is quite annoying. Or even this check. Going for this pawn. Yeah, but I think still white is doing fairly well here. But obviously after this happens, we won the game in quite an easy fashion. It is also what, on low levels, I'm not saying, well, actually, I'm not saying that 1700 is a low level, but it's a low level compared to what 1700 really is, I would say, or what grandmasters play. On low levels, people tend to play bad when you are low on time, and this is a classic phenomenon of this. We were simply 3 minutes down on time here, and I have the same issue. And when I'm up on time, I feel very uncomfortable. And he plays h6, and he wouldn't play h6 if he was not that low on time. If I was not that low on time, he would just really think about his um, position. But yeah, it's a really weird phenomenon where human psychology is involved, and this is the reason why we partly won the game. Very anticlimactic, unfortunately, but we take this result. Thank you guys for watching. See you guys next time.